In the last video, I showed you how to prepare the perfect garden bed. Now it's time to introduce either seeds or seedlings into the garden bed. Seedlings are by far the easiest, and that's the method we're going to use now. For best results, choose your vegetables in advance and then lay them out in the garden bed so you get some sort of idea how much space they will take up. Some of these have got to be separated. The cost lettuces can't go in like that because they'll be too close together. That's the same with the celery, too close together. But nevertheless, we'll get them all out here so you can have a look at what they'll be. With strawberries, we also have some beetroot and some carrots, and I've used these this time to show you the kind of thing that you can do. Beetroot, Japanese red spinach, and spring onions. Whilst I wouldn't normally recommend working without your gloves in this sort of organic material, unfortunately I've got fat fingers and I just cannot, with the gloves on, do what I have to do next. So I'm going to take my gloves off, and that's just how it is. Now I'm going to start with the celery. Just simply break these apart. And again, like that. Get 4 or 6, I think, something like that. Simply open up a space like that, and then another one like that, and that's our celery. And then for those of us like myself who can't remember anything from one minute to the next, put the label in there so you know what it is you've planted. We're going to do the same again with the carrots. Again, we break these apart. Basically every one of these has a carrot on the bottom of it, so I'll break these up as best I can without damaging the stems. And there we have the carrots. And we're going to do the same again now with the beetroot. And that's the beetroot. This is the cost lettuce. Carefully separate them out of here. A little harder with lettuce. So the interesting thing is that everybody tells me that I overcrowd these greenhouse capsules. Well, I might overcrowd them, but I'll tell you what, I've got a whopping big crop every single time. So overcrowd them? Nah, I don't think so. I've never actually planted these before. These are a taste of Asia. They're Japanese red spinach. So there's a test for me and a test for you. Next, I'm going to introduce some spring onions. These go wild in a greenhouse capsule. And there we have the spring onions. This is probably not the right place to plant choc mint. However, it is well drained, this garden bed. Particularly well drained. I don't know how the choc mint will get on with the spring onions, but I guess we'll find out soon. I've just taken this clump out of another area that's had, where we've been growing this stuff. It's beautiful. I don't know if you've ever tried chocolate mint, but let me tell you, Jamie Oliver would just love this stuff. Fabulous. Wow. Better than a minty, chocolate minty. Just simply dig a bit of a hole, cover up the spring onions, and drop the roots. Jamie Oliver, eat your heart out, mate. You know they've got all different sorts of varieties. They've got lemon, they've got pineapple, pineapple mint, lemon mint. Unbelievable. Lime mint. You almost have lemon, lime and bitters out of your garden bed. That'll be good. Okay, so here we have it. One completed garden bed. I was actually going to add a strawberry. This is an alpine red strawberry. It grows quite tall. It has small strawberries on it. But I'm not going to do that this time. I'm actually going to put him in a pot and give him to my wife. Now it's time to finalise the positioning of the Oxstar drippers. It's just a matter of bringing them into the garden bed. And the very first thing you need to do is to open up the ends of them because they're turned off like a tap, turned off clockwise. So anti-clockwise, just open them up a little bit to make them easier. Each one, make them easier to operate. If they're turned off tight, sometimes they're a bit hard to turn. So just open them up, quarter of a turn like that. And then position them gently around the garden bed. These long ends don't matter, providing you just twist and wrap around the plants like that, see? The intention is to try and wet as much of the surface as possible, but you'll never get all of it, bearing in mind that the soil absorbs the water like blotting paper, and so it will spread underneath the surface. It may not look completely wet on the surface, but it's generally very wet underneath. And of course the root system of the plants will find the water anyway. Now these are adjustable. You adjust the heads by rotating them clockwise, they will switch off. If you switch it anti-clockwise, it will turn on. Now it's just a dribble. I can make it grow longer by turning it further so it spreads out like this. You just turn it as far as you need it to make the water spread as far as you want it to go. So you can go all the way over here, or it can go very close. You're just basically trying to wet the soil, not too much foliage. As they grow up, obviously, you'll get less moisture on the foliage as they mature, but at the start they tend to get a bit wet. The idea is to have everything getting some amount of water, and if they're not, then just simply pick them up and move them a little bit further, like this, so that they're getting more water. You just adjust the jet like that accordingly. It doesn't have to soak it, that will get into that root system there. Once you've finished setting up the bed, you should always water with the lid down. Keeping the lid down keeps the moisture in the tank, and so you have less chance of any form of evaporation, and obviously you'll use less water if there's less evaporation. At some point or other, after the water is drained down through the system into the drain and down into the tank below, it will eventually overflow from this pipe here. To make the whole job easier, you could also purchase a digital tap timer, or a mechanical one if you prefer. These are about $45 to $50, mechanical ones run from about $19. You basically attach this to your garden tap, set the timer so it will start every 24 hours and run for 2.5 minutes, so that when you come home from your holidays, you'll have nice fresh vegetables for your table. Remember, water will always flow out of the overflow. It's a good idea to catch that water so it's not wasted, and it is nutrient enriched anyway. So just use a broad pot or a watering can or a bucket or something like that, whatever's available. Catch the water and simply use it to water your tomatoes or other vegetables that you have around your garden. Or if you wish, introduce it back into the garden bed. Now just sit back in your favourite garden chair and let the greenhouse capsule do its job.